Now I'm going to do something pretty fun for you today. I was flipping through John Shuey's classic steelhead flies, just looking for something cool to tie, and there really are some beautiful patterns in this book. But I'm not a steelhead fisherman, or not yet anyway, but here's the deal. Lots of these old classic flashy steelhead flies can be tied for trout as trout streamers, or for warmwater fish like smallmouth or largemouth bass. So that's what I'm going to tie today, the Black Prince, or more specifically, Clarence Gordon's version of it. Now, if you want to tie this classic pattern for steelhead, sure, go ahead and put it on a salmon hook. But if you want to tie this for tailwater trout or warmwater bass, I say go for it. Just have fun tying it. So there's the hook I'm going to use. This is a size 6, 3 extra long, 1 extra heavy, barbless streamer hook. This is actually a Sprite. And I'm going to use some black 140 denier thread. Go ahead and catch this in and lay a base down to the start of the bend. And the tail, just some barbs from red strung saddle hackle. Not terribly long, maybe a half a body length. This is actually 2 clumps. So it's a significant tail, it's just they're not real long. Now, one thing you do see with a lot of salmon flies, the tail propped up a little bit. So you might want to put a wrap right up under it, kind of wedge it up in there, get the little cant going up. And I'm going to just leave these in, take some loose wraps so I don't have an unnecessary lump somewhere here in the middle of the fly. Probably really doesn't matter because we've got a couple more materials going on the body. The first of which is a medium oval silver tinsel. And I'm going to catch it in up front. This will help us minimize having a lump because this is pretty thick stuff right here. So go ahead and catch this in, with the goal of keeping it parallel to the hook going back. Now back the thread off about 1/3 of the way up, and the recipe calls for a yellow chenille or yarn for the back section. Now this is I think a 3-strand yarn. I could unspin it and just use one of the strands, but I think it'll be thin enough if I just use the full strength here. So let's try that. And I'm going to catch it in where I want the front of this butt section to be. So we've got 2 components for the body, a yellow and a black. And the rib, of course. Okay, so let's go back right there and leave your thread right here where we're going to catch this yellow off, and then just wrap it up as tight as you want it. I don't want a huge thick body on this, but I don't want it to be insignificant either. Okay, I think that's going to be fine right there. Maybe I went 1 wrap more forward than I should have, according to the only picture of this one I see. And I think we're going to be fine with that. Let's go ahead and snip this off about as close as we can get it. And let's take our thread up and we'll do the same thing with a piece of black. Again, this is a 3-strand yarn. I'm going to use it full strength right here. And leave the thread up here where we're going to catch this one off. Okay, I think this is going to be fine. See that little indentation there? Looks like the yellow's thick, and then there's a thin spot, and then the black gets thick. Yeah, I did not do that on purpose, but it looks good right there. You see a little dip in it right there. But that's okay. I'm not going to worry about it. First one of these I've ever tied. We'll see how it turns out. Okay, you want to leave, we've got 2 more components going up front, so don't get too close to your eye just yet. Now let's wrap up this tinsel. And I think I'm going to counter wrap it here. Okay, that is about as uneven as I could possibly make it. Just not real pretty. Guess I could have spent a little more time on it right there. But I'm making this to fish. It's not going in a shadow box. If it was, I would spend a little bit more time on it. Work on getting that body a little smoother and making these wraps a little cleaner. But again, I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm making a fishing fly here. So next component is gonna be some black hackle. Now here's a feather just from my strung saddle hackle. I want this to be long, but if you look at this, just take a look at the length of these barbs. I don't really want it that long. I don't want it going all the way to the butt, so maybe I could catch this fly in, or this feather in right here, but even then, those are some pretty long barbs. So let's try a smaller feather here. How about this one? This one, I want these barbs to be about halfway down the fly. So yeah, I think this one might work. We'll give it a shot. I'm gonna just catch this one in right here at the back of my head. Okay, that spun around on me. I didn't want that to happen, but we'll be fine. Let's cord this thread up, clockwise spin, and take a few wraps right up here. Don't snip it off till you get up front, or you'll create a little artificial lump that you'll have to contend with later. Okay, so I think we're in good enough right here, but we're not gonna wrap it all the way up because we've got some bucktail after this hackle. So go ahead and put several wraps of this, and I'm thinking, 4 or 5 if you can get them. 5 might be too much, so let's do 3 or 4, and then we'll work to get them all swept back here in just a second. I lost count. Was that 3 or was that 4? I don't know, but I think it's enough. So a couple wraps to secure this. I'm gonna go ahead and try and sweep them back before I snip that excess feather tip there. Okay, I think that is caught in well enough. Let's now snip this excess. And I've got at least one barb sticking forward. We'll take care of this guy. And I've got a little bit of a lump between my eye and where that feather is, so I'm going to spend a few wraps right here just to try and smooth this out. Maybe take it back just a little bit farther, give me a little more room for this bucktail. Okay, that is about the length I want. Now the question, can I get this bucktail tied in on top without creating too clunky of a head? So I'm going to take a medium clump of it, put it in my stacker. Let's see if this stacked okay. I think it did. And let's catch this in to the back of the body here. All right, maybe I need to take my thread to the back of the head for this first wrap. Spin it clockwise, cord it up, which will make it bind a little more, but it might also cause this bucktail to prop up. So be a little careful there. Let's pinch this hook and the hairs. Do a little pinch wrap right here and just try to keep it on top. A couple of medium to loose wraps. Okay, now that's not sticking up too high. I'm kind of liking that. So let's take a few more tight wraps going forward before we snip it. Okay, I think it's caught in pretty well. Now let's just try to snip this without jostling it around any. All right, I think we can work with this. Let's see if we can clean up this head. Okay, that's a little bit of a lumpy head, but I think we can hide some of that with our head cement. So let's go ahead and put a whip finish on it. So there we go, Gordon's black prints. Do we have any cleanup on this one? Yeah, I could probably clean up some of those hackle fibers there, and certainly I'll work on that head with some head cement, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to put some head cement on it and call it done. So there you go, my friends. I appreciate you watching. Y'all take care, and we'll see you next time.